Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, which I've probably said wrong, but I thought I'd read it just to make it slightly better than it would have been. So, oh, and I should also check, it was translated from the Japanese by Geoffrey Trousselot? I'll put the cover up and hopefully it'll say both of their names. So I got this book to review from NetGalley, hence why it has been on my Kindle. And I ended up picking it up after the last book I reviewed because I wanted something short and I wanted to read the NetGalley book so that I could review it. And I will say before I start, this is one of my favourite books ever. Ever. I think it's my favourite adult fiction book. And I need to reread my old favourite, which is The Gift, a YA fantasy, but it may have surpassed The Gift, which is what I named my channel after. This book is amazing. So it is general fiction with a speculative twist, very much with Japanese culture behind it. So Geoffrey, the translator, did a beautiful job translating this work from the original Japanese into English whilst keeping that feel of the Japanese culture within the text. I am reasonably familiar with Japanese culture in that I've read some manga, I watch some anime, and my boyfriend actually knows some Japanese and loves the culture, so it's something that I've been exposed to an okay amount, and this just felt so Japanese. And I think that is massive kudos to the translator because it's hard enough to translate a work anyway, but to manage to translate it from such a different language and keep the essences he's done it beautifully. On to the actual book itself. Before the Coffee Gets Cold is set within a coffee shop, and the coffee shop has a little speculative twist to it. It's hard to, and this is a spoiler-free review, so it's hard to say what it's about without spoiling it. I went into this not knowing anything. I knew it was by a Japanese author and that was it, because when I requested it is when I read the synopsis and I didn't read it since. So I had no idea what it was going into it, and that it was just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I don't want to ruin the speculative twist, but there is one, and I'm saying nothing more about it. She says that she's about to say more about it. I don't want to say anything specific, but it does allow people to evaluate things that have happened in their life, take sad events and learn from them, and come to resolutions about those events. So I did cry twice whilst reading this book, and both of them were because of the resolution to a sad thing. So something sad, something upsetting had happened in these people's lives, and the resolution itself was, as resolutions often are, simultaneously happy and sad. And so it was just written absolutely beautifully. That nuance was captured so well, with the balance between the happiness of a resolution and the sadness of the event itself still being there. The speculativeness was done in a brilliant way as well, in that it allowed for this extra avenue to be explored without turning it into a big fantasy story with the focus being on this little magical twist. Instead, it's just an accoutrement to the story, and it adds that extra little bit of magic to make the story perfect. It's just beautiful. I struggle to describe it because it's so short. That's another thing as well. It's hard to say because I read it on the Kindle, but I would say it's less than 200 pages and it's split into 4 stories that are all linked, and they're 4 distinct instances, and it's a very quick read because of this as well, because you are, at least I was so absorbed into each of these stories. You know, it takes you a little bit to get absorbed into it, and then you finish and you're like, oh my god, it was amazing, I read it in 30 seconds. It was written so beautifully. The events were handled with such care and delicacy, because they are sad and traumatic events in these characters' lives. The speculative area of the book was handled brilliantly. It didn't weigh too heavily on it. It was, as I said before, just an addition to the storytelling, an addition to these people's lives that helped them reach a better place for resolution. I really recommend this book. It is an adult book, but if you are a mature YA reader, I wouldn't say any younger than like, oh this is difficult, like 15, 16? Probably 16. It's a judgment call. There's nothing in here necessarily, but it's just having the... I'm going to insult older young people now. It's having the emotional maturity to really see the depth in this story. If I'd read it at 15, 16, I still would have thought it was a good book. And I probably would have said to someone saying this, I understood it, it's fine. But it's those extra couple years of life experience, of having a few more bad things happen to you, that really makes this book hit home. So if you think that that's you, go for it. I'm not one to judge. You do you. But I really do think for me personally, being, well, I'm 23 now, but when I read it I was 22, because I read it like a couple weeks ago. And I think that being 22 rather than 16, for me personally, made a massive impact on how much this book hit home. I would have probably given this 3.5, 4 stars at 16 and been like, yeah, it's fine. I'm debating whether it is my new favourite book. I think I need to reread The Gift before I can say whether it is my new favourite, before it ousts The Gift from its top spot. But it's just absolutely gorgeous, and it is such a speedy read. I need to get myself a physical copy. I cannot afford it right now because I'm always broke, perpetually. But I need to get myself a physical copy because I adore it, and the cover's gorgeous as well. The British cover is so nice. But yes, essentially I can't say too much more because this is a short book where the magic in it is best experienced yourself, but I really do recommend. It is absolutely, as I've said, gorgeous. I am much better at articulating my views in writing than I am verbally, which is great for a booktuber, but I have linked my blog post review about this book down below, along with my blog in general, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Goodreads and my Amazon wishlist. They're all down in the description if you want to have a look, as well as the author's names and, well, the author's name and the translator's name, because I've pronounced them both incorrectly and I want you to be able to look them up. And if you want to see any more from me, any more book reviews or book hauls or whatever, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm thinking, I have a plan. But if you would want to see some more from me, then hit the subscribe button and the little bell below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!